Hi, thank you for joining us today in our next installment of the Post-Secondary Info Series. Today we are here with Laurentian University. If you're not familiar already, my name is Richard Vallejo. I am your student service representative, and representing Laurentian University, we have our lovely Brianna Coffey. You are an admissions and liaison officer, right?
Yes,
at Laurentian University.
Yeah.
So we had a good opportunity to talk before. You've been working with them for a couple years. You were working while you were studying there. It's great. So what Brianna's going to do is going to tell us a little bit about the experience at Laurentian University. No doubt you're going to talk about your own experience a little bit as well, I'm sure, and see if it's an option for you. If you're thinking about applying to university, don't really know where, we're going to be asking about the programs available, all that good stuff. So I'll stop talking. Brianna, why don't you tell us about the experience and what you guys offer at Laurentian University?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Richard,
Sure.
for giving me such a great introduction. And I'm so happy to be here to talk to the virtual high school students on behalf of Laurentian University. So yes, as Richard mentioned, I did study at Laurentian. I took communication studies, and I also studied languages, so French and Spanish, Français, Español. And I also speak Italian and Catalan as well. So languages, I just absolutely love those. I did a student exchange while I was at Laurentian as well. So I went to Spain for 6 months to study. This is something that is available to pretty well all on-campus students in some form, whether that be on a 1 year, a 6 month, or even a shorter summer program to get Laurentian credits abroad. So that's absolutely fantastic. So I know that a lot of you students are probably considering a lot of different universities for different reasons. It's about finding where you want to start your own adventure, where can be home for you. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about the feel at Laurentian and also the Laurentian adventure. So essentially, we are located in Northern Ontario. Okay, we are one of 2 bilingual universities in Ontario as well. So if you wanted to study French, you can absolutely do that, which is fantastic. We have a beautiful campus to study on. So if you're up for the adventure, we have over 765 acres of land.
That's crazy. That's
on our
awesome.
campus. Yeah, we have 5 lakes on campus. We even have our own private beach. It has been called the University Resort.
Nice. I didn't know that one. That's good.
Yeah. We also have over 35 kilometers of hiking and skiing trails. So there's just a lot to enjoy. You really notice in Sudbury that the air is very clean. We have a lot of nature in and around the city. We are surrounded by actually 9 provincial parks.
Wow. That's really
So
neat.
tons of space to explore,
Sure.
for sure. We have been voted actually Canada's happiest city in 2015.
Sudbury.
Yeah,
Good for you guys. That's awesome.
absolutely, which is really nice. We, like I said, we just have a beautiful campus. We are a university of about 9,000 students. So that includes on-campus and online students. So I would say, almost half of those students are actually studying online. Yeah, so we do have a lot of online presence at Laurentian as well, which is really nice. A little bit more about Sudbury. So we're a city of about 165,000 people. We are about 4 hours north of Toronto, if you're trying to map out Ontario. I would assume about 5.5 hours exactly from Bayfield, if you wanted to know. And we've got lots of local shops. We have a booming art industry. We have lots of things to do to stay active. Like I said, lots of trails and shopping and things like that to do. So lots to kind of get out in the community and do. We are also a tricultural university. So we incorporate the French, the English, and the Indigenous cultures on our campus in various ways in terms of classes, traditional ceremonies, really getting engaged in the community. So it's truly a unique perspective. And for those of you students who are international, it really is a truly authentic Canadian experience. I mean, your English will vastly improve because you don't have the option to speak in other languages, really. It's pretty much French and English in Sudbury, which is really nice. And even on campus. So our average class sizes are actually 1 professor to 18 students. So nice and small.
That is.
Yeah. So it really gives you the opportunity to make a good connection with your professor and really get the true value out of your education, because, you know, your professor could be a reference in the future. You know, if you're unsure about what you want to do, they could actually help you with choosing a career path and different things like this. Having these supports are super important, and we have you supported no matter what. So we've got academic and learning supports, we've got writing assistance, health programs, mental health, physical health, different things like that, career services to help you kind of develop as a person as well. And a lot of these services are actually available to online students.
Great.
Yeah. We have 175 programs at Laurentian. So a vast majority of programs to choose from. We have 6 different academic faculties. So let's say different sections to kind of choose from. So we have the Faculty of Arts, which is where my program fell under. We also have the Faculty of Education, the Faculty of Management, the Faculty of Science, Engineering, and Architecture. We have the Faculty of Health and the Faculty of Medicine as well. So we actually have Canada's newest medical school right on our campus.
I didn't know that. When did that open?
2005.
Wow. Wonderful. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. With the main goal of training medical professionals for the North, where we need the resources.
So rural medicine then.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, for sure. So that's really solid as well. We have wonderful academic scholarships for students. So coming out of high school, if you get anything over an 80% in your top 6 courses, you get an automatic scholarship to come to Laurentian starting at $1,000.
Wow.
And it just kind of works its way up. So every penny counts.
For sure.
Also with our international students, so with the exception of a few programs, some of our limited enrollment programs, you also have the opportunity to get some great scholarships. So if you're an international student with an overall average of 80%, in high school or in college education or something like that, you can actually get $10,000 a year to come to Laurentian.
Wow.
Yeah. And that is actually renewable. If you get over 90%, you get $15,000.
Yearly.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
So it really helps out.
For sure it does.
Definitely. We also have a residence guarantee for all of our Canadian high school students as well. So if you apply, you just kind of rank your options, and we do guarantee you a spot for one of our 2 first-year residences as well. In terms of staying active on campus, we do have intramural sports if you're interested in kind of casually playing. We also have 21 varsity sports teams. So if sports is very important for you and you want to continue,
it's around.
We have that. Yeah, exactly. And we also have some great facilities on campus to stay active. So we have an Olympic-sized pool. We have the trails that I was talking about on campus. We have an indoor and outdoor track. We actually also have a weight room, a fully functional weight room as well. We have something called a tango tower.
What is that?
So it actually, it's a vertical obstacle course. Yeah.
Neat. Outdoors.
Yeah. Outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah. We got ski trails on campus as well. So if you wanted to, you know, try your luck at an adventure as well. We have our open house happening in the fall this weekend right now, this upcoming weekend, but we will have another one in the March break for anybody who can make that.
Nice. Wonderful.
Yeah.
This is all great information. Actually, Brianna, you ended up answering, I think, most of the questions that I had on here. Thank you for telling us a bit more about that.
My pleasure.
One thing that I want to expound on, you and I were talking about it before we started this, was the study abroad experience. So
yes.
You studied abroad, you went to Spain, right? And I studied abroad as well during university. I think it's something every student should partake in if it's possible. I think it's going to completely change your mind about really the world, right? So
yeah.
You said that there's options for study abroad for full semester, summer. You know what I always find is a misconception students have is you end up having to graduate late if you study abroad. That's not always the case, is it? And not likely if you have the programs already set up for direct exchange or something like that. How would you, someone that might want to study abroad that wants to stick to the standard 4 years, let's say, what would you tell them?
So what's nice is that if you're interested in doing a student exchange, I suggest that you actually start talking to the student exchange department early so that we can start planning this. So you can start to kind of gear your degree towards doing a student exchange, because essentially the way that a student exchange works is you get Laurentian credits abroad.
Perfect.
So this means that we have to start talking to the faculty members. We need to talk to your program coordinator, and we also need to talk to the international student department just to say, okay, if I'm going to go away in my third year, these are the types of credits that I want to get abroad. And you talk to your coordinator to say, okay, if I get those credits at that university, what is that going to be the equivalent to at Laurentian? So we set up what's called a learning agreement. And this is kind of, it could be amendable, of course, if things change and you take different courses, but generally it's a plan. And ideally you would go away in your third year. So you've already got 2+ years of your degree kind of under your belt before kind of going abroad and knowing which courses you would want to get.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you obviously students have full access to the international office there, and you can access it. Sounds like it's very approachable in that sense.
Definitely.
Wonderful. Now,
Definitely.
Another thing that struck me there, Brianna, was the medical school. I don't know why that wasn't in my mind. And this is what I think is great about Laurentian and even breaking the idea that maybe someone has about the city of Sudbury. You know, that like we were talking before, long ago, it used to be kind of a mining town, right? A nickel, you said, mining town. And so when someone thinks about that, hasn't recently seen it or visited it, they might be thinking, well, that's who would want to go there? But I mean, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And the campus itself and the acres there, I mean, that sounds surprising.
Yeah.
So certainly if you're available to do the open house, right? You said that's coming up
on November 2nd. So it's actually this weekend.
That's Sunday or Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah. And then if not, there's another one in March.
Yeah. So March 14th is our next open house.
So suppose someone's out there that won't be able to make any of those dates, but is going to be in Sudbury at the time. Can they call and have maybe like a private tour?
Most definitely.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you just email info@laurentian.ca or call the phone number to talk to Laurentian, then we can definitely get a campus tour set up. And if you give us enough notice and you're able to make it during the week, we might even be able to set up a faculty meeting. So you can actually talk to one of our very engaged professors to get an idea of what the program is like that you're interested in.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, having a class size where it's 18 students to one professor, that's wonderful. I attended university where it was 500 students to one professor, so quite the different experience. Now, being able to, what kind of hit me when you were talking about it was having a reference letter. So obviously the professors then get to know you.
Definitely.
To the point where they would feel comfortable vouching for you in an application or something like that.
Definitely.
That's great. I did want to ask about practical learning, so like co-op options. So you guys have those options at Laurentian University?
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of hands-on experience. Tell us a little bit about, maybe even with the medical school, are there hands-on experience there? How would it work, especially for an undergraduate student? What's available for them?
For sure. So I'll start maybe with talking about a little bit more about the undergraduate kind of hands-on experience, and then I can touch on the medical school because that's really cool and very unique as well.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So essentially, pretty well all of our programs, in some way, shape, or form, you're getting hands-on experience. So in some courses, it is built into a co-op. For example, our engineering options have a co-op. Our business has the co-op option as well. We have, even in a program that you might not think about, like chemistry or biochemistry, we have a co-op in that program. Great. Yeah, computer science. So just to kind of name a few, nursing as well, we have placements. So we have some that are co-ops, which technically are paid placements, and then we have other programs that they have different kinds of placements. So we have nursing, midwifery for the placements as well, things like health promotion, a lot of our health degrees for social work as well. We do have placements, so which is nice. And then we have some programs like communication studies, which is what I took. It doesn't necessarily have, well, you could do a co-op option, but we actually have a collaboration with Cambrian College in Sudbury that you can actually get your degree, your Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies, and you get your postgraduate diploma in Public Relations in 4 years.
That's great.
Yeah, so we have some really great hands-on experience.
Wonderful. I mean, that's a good way to apply what you're learning, and you don't have to necessarily wait till graduation or anything like that.
Definitely.
You touched base on this already, but studying like online studying online courses. Obviously, our students are well familiar with taking courses online, being that we're completely a virtual high school.
Yeah.
How does that work? Can a student earn their entire degree online, or is it just a few courses? Can they mix and match?
Mix and match. You can do it. Some degrees are offered completely online. Some of them you can mix and match. And like I said, so for some different programs, you can just choose to take take 1 or 2 courses online. Maybe you wanted to lighten up the course load for next year and you're an on-campus student. Take an online course in the summertime, and it could really kind of give you that leeway depending on what you're looking for. In terms of online options, we really do have some fantastic options. So just to name a few, we do have the Bachelor of Indigenous Social Work completely online. So you are a registered social worker to work in Canada after that, which is pretty cool. We also have, we have different 3-year options online, and we also have some 4-year options online.
Okay.
So in terms of some 3-year, we do have history, we have sociology, we have women's gender, sexuality studies, we do have religious studies as well, just to name some of them. And then in terms of some 4-year degrees, we do have Indigenous Studies, which is a 4-year program. Psychology, we actually offer the 3-year program, we offer the 4-year honors, and starting in January, you can actually do your 4-year honors with a thesis option as well.
Great.
Online.
More chance to do research and apply it at the undergraduate level. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned some programs there that I would imagine may not be super widely offered. What would you say is kind of your speciality, like a course or a program that may not be offered anywhere else that you would say, well, Laurentian has that?
Laurentian has that. So I would say some programs that we have that very little universities would offer or no other universities offer would definitely be sports psychology in the Faculty of Health. We also have Indigenous Social Work. Our Bachelor of Sports Administration is really unique. It is a business degree, so a commerce degree with the option to focus on sport as well. Forensic Science is quite a unique program as well, accredited in both Canada and the United States.
Oh, great. Wonderful. And then, of course, the fact that you're really one of 2 bilingual universities as well, so you can offer all these in French as well?
Not all of them.
How does that work?
Yeah, not all of them. That's a really good question. So we do offer about 60 programs completely in French.
Wonderful. Wow.
Yeah, so for our Francophone learners out there, we absolutely have great options for you. Or what you can do what's called a bilingual option. So let's say you are Francophone and you wanted to take some of your courses in French, some of them in English. Even if it is an English program, maybe you could take some of the courses in French. And for any student at Laurentian, if you take over 5 courses in French, then you actually get a certificate of bilingualism with your degree.
And just 5?
Yeah, just 5.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Not
really
too
neat.
hard to get.
No. You talked about the averages to getting some certain scholarships, which, by the way, that's incredible. I mean, the amounts of those scholarships seem, every little bit helps for sure, and that certainly would go a long ways. But what about, in general, admissions requirements?
So, I mean, it really depends on the program. Okay. But for high school students, for let's say Ontario high school students, we really only look at your top 6 grade 12 courses. Okay. So we look at the average in terms of your top 6 grade 12 courses, and we look at the scholarships in terms of your top 6 grade 12 courses. Okay. For pretty well any program at Laurentian, your a pretty standard requirement is your grade 12 English. And then it just kind of depends the programs that you're interested in, what the other prerequisites might be. Like for example, for a lot of our arts programs, it will just be 1 English with 5 other courses at the university or mixed level.
Got it.
And then some of our health degrees, it could be 1 biology or exercise science, an English, and then 3 other courses as well. Anything that is a Bachelor of Science, you would have to get your biology, your chemistry, advanced functions, English, and then calculus and vectors would be recommended. And then maybe another science or a math. So that's where the programs get a little bit tighter in terms of the prerequisites.
Got it.
But again, we just look at your top 6. So if you take more than 6 grade 12 credits, we actually drop your lowest mark and we take the average off of that.
That's great.
Yeah.
And if any student has any idea or questions about the requirements, they can just call the admissions office. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Or even check it out online. You can figure that stuff out. Wonderful.
Online, yeah.
Brianna, this has been a great experience talking to you about Laurentian.
Thank you.
If you're out there and you want flexibility, you have English, you have French, you have online courses, and you could do really all if you wanted to do that too. So
absolutely.
Thank you for telling us about that information, that experience there at Laurentian University. If you have any more questions, or if you have any questions, you can just reach out to us at info@virtualhighschool.com. We'll make sure that we get the right answer to you, or get get you connected to the right person, maybe at Laurentian. If you maybe are not interested in Laurentian, but you know someone that is, you should share them this video. And either way, follow us on Instagram or on Facebook and keep in touch about when the next post-secondary info series is. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.